Hello, hello everyone. So my name is Merile. I'm 52, and I live in the south of France, and I've been running for about 20 years. Uh, so about my running experience, I start running a short distance race uh, 10 years ago, and I have increased progressively the distance over the years with semi-marathon, marathon, 100 kilometers, 100 miles, trials, lot of ultra. And then I had the opportunity to take part in a stage race in the desert in 2012. And for 10 years, I have specialized in multi-day stage race. Uh,
Awesome. Yeah, that's quite a background, and it seems like you've ran MDS 6 times and Grand to Grand once.
yeah, six
Yeah.
times, and this year I take part in the next NDS edition in April.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm in the preparation now.
Okay. And I guess having done both MDS and Grand to Grand, what would you say the differences are between the two events?
Yeah, uh, it's true that the two ice are quite similar in this form, but yeah, so we are talking here about multi-day stage race in a backcountry environment and self-sufficient. This year, the configuration of the MDS would change a little. The organization has decided to increase the overall distance of the race and the order of stage in the week. However, the previous years, there are still many differences between the two races. Uh, so the overall distance covered on the NDS is shorter than on the G2G. And the main difficulty, I think, in the G2G is that the distances of the two first stages are very long. So I think the first one 50 kilometers and 43 kilometers. So we are approaching the long stage with a lot of fatigue, tiredness, and with a heavy backpack. So for me, I think it is difficult to approach this long stage in this configuration. The weather also are quite different too. In Morocco, the temperature is generally higher, and the weather is fairly stable during the week. On the G2G, you have there are big variation in temperature during the day and or between night and day, and there can be heavy shower during the week. So we don't have that in Morocco. That's why on the G2G there are more mandatory equipment um, in case of bad weather. Uh, so I think on the G2G the weather condition is the most uncertain parameters than the marathon itself.
Yeah.
Other important aspect, the higher, the higher altitude on the, well, when you run the G2G, the total ascent over the six stage is 5,000 meters. I think so. The overall height of the race is greater than the NDS. So it's important to know that to prepare to the G2G. After what about The landscape are nothing alike on the G2G. There are no very long stony plateau or big desert except the peaks and dune. That are very rich landscape with lots of vegetation and animals, and you don't have this environment on the marathon sun.
Yeah.
And also the last point is the number of participants of the race. G2G is a much more intimate event, I think, with fewer than 100 runners at the start, whereas on the NDS we are pushing 1,000 participants. So the atmosphere during the race and at the camp is very different. The G2G, we can say, more family oriented, and we get to know all the participants very quickly, even before the race starts.
Yeah, I think that's a fun part of the race is you get to know everybody really well because you get to run and camp with them for a week in the desert.
Sorry.
It's fun to meet everybody at the race and camp with everybody for the week. It's more fun. Yeah,
it's more fun. Yes, can discuss with the organization members, with the camp crew, with the sweepers. Very, very good.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, since you have done both MDS and G2G, what tips would you give, or what advice would you give to somebody who wants to run the Grand to Grand?
A lot of advice and tips to give. As for all the races we prepare, the most important is to try to reproduce the race condition during trainings. I think it is very important. So you need to know what makes G2G so special compared to other races. So you have the heat, the hard packet sound, the soft sound, the backpack, the altitude, the distance, the daily repetition of the run. So it's important to introduce gradually one or several elements in your weekly training session. And it's important to do that gradually to avoid abrupt change for the body and injuries. So it's important to increase the distance and repeat effort over several days. For example, every 3 or 4 weekends, and if it's possible, with the backpack when the sun is hot and on a soft ground. It's not, and you must also integrate long walk during your training, with or without walking sticks. But even if you plan to run as long as possible stage, the G2G is a very long stage, a very long race, and inevitably you are going to be walking for a long time, and you need to prepare yourself physically and mentally for that. I think so, this is very important, even for good runners. Key to success is in the way also you hydrate and feed yourself during the race, and you can prepare for this during the training session. There is another point on the food preparation. So there are long sections on the track uh, that are very unstable with soft sand, and it's important to prepare your feet a few months before the start to limit the appearance of foot blisters.
Yeah, it's interesting how many people get blisters every year.
A lot of people.
Yep, exactly. Did you get blisters when you ran?
Sometimes, but I prepare my feet several months before the race with lemon, with uh, other preparation and pharmaceutical preparation. So and every week I run a lot of kilometers. So it's not a problem for me all the year.
Perfect. Did you say you're 51 or 52 years old?
I'm 52 years old.
Okay, awesome. 52 years young. Um, I think a lot of people assume that to run a race like MDS or Grand to Grand, you need to be young, but you're 50 and you're doing really well. So what is your secret to running well at your age?
Um, uh, I would like to improve with age, but that's not really the case. I run a lot slower than I did a few years ago. Uh, but on ultra trail, you can perform by running slowly, but for a very long time. And that's why what I try to do. And especially on multi-day stage race, the experience is also very important in the way you prepare and you optimizing your backpack. And finally, after several years of racing in this condition, this kind of race, I think my body has adapted to this effort, repeated every day in the heat. So I am adapted to that. And also I have a few techniques to running efficiently in soft sand. But it's like good French wine. There are some secrets to do that.
So that makes sense. You can't give away all your secrets. Colin told me that in 2023 you had some medical issues and you didn't race.
Yeah.
So now coming back, it seems like you're healthy again and you're running MDS and Grand to Grand. So what are the challenges for you so that you can do well at the race this year?
Yes, I didn't do many races last year to recover my health. I only ran a marathon in October. So I'm going to try to find my level again this year, and I think I need to be patient because I stopped running during a long time. So the MDS will be first state that will allow me to see where I am in my racing pace. Um, so I'll be a little in the unknown on this for this race. Then I'll adapt my training to be in top of my shape in September on the G2G start line. But performance after 10 years of running this kind of race, it is not my only goal. Even if I like to race with the best runners, I also above all want to enjoy the adventure, the scenery, the atmosphere of the camp with other runners, with the camp crews, with members of the organization, and the G2G is a very good place for that.
Definitely. And this year at Grand to Grand, we have a few elite runners that have done well at 200-mile races and other hundreds. Those runners have never done a stage race before. So you have experience stage racing, but these people don't. So do you think that it is going to be a challenge this year racing against these people, or do you think that you have an advantage because you're experienced with stage racing?
It's a good thing. There is a bit more competition for this year. I don't know who these riders or what their palmarès are, but I think they also have a lot of long distance experience. So I won't have much more experience. Of course, I have experience in optimizing my equipment to reduce the weight of my backpack. But runners who do ultra or long distance race or FKTs also know that. Perhaps my experience of running in the soft sand could be a little advantage, but it will be slim, I think. But this year, it should be a very interesting competition at the front this year, and I'm very happy to experience that.
Yeah, I think it will be fun to have more competition at the race.
Yeah,
There are some fast men and some fast women, and it'll be really interesting.
yeah. It's possible to know her name, to know his name.
There's a few.
I don't see the start line, the start list.
Okay. Yeah, Jeff Garmeyer is running, and he has a bunch of long FKTs. Like he's done like the Arizona Trail FKT, a big, I don't know, 2 or 3 thousand mile backpacking loop FKT,
Ouais.
John Muir Trail, a bunch of big things like that. Another guy from Colorado named Kyle Curtin, and he's ran Tour de Jance a couple times, and he's won the Tahoe 200 and some other 100-mile races. And then there's a guy who is kind of a wild card. His name is Matt Graham, and he's a big runner and like survivalist. So he's really good at finding food in the wild, and he teaches survival classes. But he's also a really good runner. So I think it will be really fun to have you guys out there racing and running really fast.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good challenge. It's a good challenge for me. It's true that in 2022, when I ran the G2G, the last stage I was alone in front of the race, so it's interesting. I profit of the landscape, but yeah, I think it's more interesting to have a little bit concurrence on the race. So it's good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it will just be fun. It will be fun at camp, and then also at the finish to see how everybody does.
Yeah.
So, kind of last question here. I think a lot of people get nervous or they get scared about signing up for a race that is a week long and is 275 kilometers long. So what advice do you have to people who maybe want to run the race but are scared to sign up?
Yes, it's true that when you look at the configuration of the G2G, they can be a little scary. But with good anticipation in the preparation, it's really possible to finish this race. since last year, there have been a new race mode with the supported category, and so it's possible to do the race without having to carry all your equipment and food. So it will increase your chance of finishing. And then there is a large community of runners on this multi-day stage race who share their experience on social networks. So you can use it to put all your chances on the side. So there are still 8 months to get ready. So there's still time to sign up to this fantastic adventure.
I agree. There's 8 months before the race and plenty of time to prepare.
Yeah. So I hope see a lot of runners in Canada in September and near the Grand Canyon and especially near the Grand Circuits.
Me too. Well, thank you for your time. That was interesting to hear your perspective on things.
Thank you very much for this podcast. It was a pleasure to talk about G2G with you.
You're welcome. It was good to meet you online, and I'll meet you in person this September in Kanab.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, perfect. All right, then we'll have a good evening, and we'll talk soon.
Yes. Good evening too, and have a nice day.
Yeah, thank you.
And I take some courses of English, so I have 8 months to speak well English. So it's important for me. So I do some formation to that.
Should I take a French class before September? Learn some French?
Yeah.
I need to.
Okay. Thank you, Eric, and see you in September.